Hi everybody, and welcome to True Wants, where here we try to help you make that decision if it's going to change from a want to a need. If you are new to my channel, I really hope you will choose to subscribe. It's free and it's easy. It's the red button you see right underneath this video. If you press it and it turns gray, you are in. It's that simple. There's also the bell beside the subscribe button that I always recommend that you press. It's called the notification bell. And what ends up happening is YouTube will notify you just once that I have uploaded a brand new video. I do upload a lot, and sometimes my videos are time sensitive, so I don't want you to miss out. So make sure to press that subscribe button, ring that bell, and you will be in the know. Also, right underneath there is a thumbs up. That's important for the growth of a YouTuber. So if you're enjoying my content and you like these type of videos, please take a second to hit that thumbs up. It's very important for my growth, and I appreciate that you guys are doing that for me. So once again, thank you for taking the time to hit that thumbs up. All right. Today we are going to be doing what I guess it's called, makeup of the day, the MOTD. And what I found that I wanted to start doing is I wanted to start playing with the makeup and then sharing with you guys what I have used and if I'm enjoying it or not. And we started doing this for only a couple of videos, and I'm finding now I've set an area on my bathroom on the other side, because I have two sides to my bathroom, where I do all my makeup, and I've set up these little boxes that I cut out from Boxycharm, and I'm putting in there the items that I'm using, and then I'm putting it in front of the table so that if I have time at the end of the day, like today, I'm now going through everything that I put on my face, and then I will put everything back, exactly how I have myself organized. But I found by doing that, it kind of made me remember at the end of the day to sit down here and try to film a video for you guys in reference to the products, because it's nice when we swatch, and it's nice when we have the opportunity to try products that maybe have been on our wants list for a long time. But sometimes when we receive them, they don't end up being everything that we thought they were going to be, or we receive brands that we don't know about, and now they're our new favorites. So I'm going to share with you, and how I do this is my mind works from start to finish. So I'm going to start with the newest product that I had the opportunity to try, and there's some products in here that are my staples, as well as some products that are foundations that I haven't tried I've tried and enjoyed, but I haven't used in a long time. Okay, remember here, there's no edits. I filmed this with you guys, and then I put it away, and then I let it do its downloads, uploads into YouTube, which takes hours and hours. So there's no editing or anything, so I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anything wrong, but you guys have grown with me, and this is, you're along for the ride, and I appreciate it. Okay, the first item that I had the opportunity to try is from Avant, and this is one of those expensive brands that show up in our Boxycharm boxes. And now we're starting to see them a little bit in IPSY because they're both under the same umbrella now. And this is their Pro Perfecting Collagen Primer, the Touche Eclat. And this is beautiful. This really goes on almost like a lotion, but it doesn't, when it dries down, and it does dry down, it's not sticky or anything. It is really, really a treat. And I looked at myself at the end of the day, and my makeup was still intact. So this is doing everything that I would expect a primer to do. Like I said, the prices of these that are in the retail world are real. However, if you're part of Boxycharm like I am, a lot of times when we have the opportunity to try the products that are in our boxes, we now have the luxury through the add-ons and the pop-ups to pick up a product that we have been enjoying at less than like 70-80% off the retail. So the retails are for that world. We're lucky enough that we're in the Boxycharm IPSY world, and because of that, if you fall in love with this, it's not like, oh my god, I just fell in love with $100 and something primer. No, you fell in love with a primer from a really good brand that you'll be able to get in hopefully a future add-on. So that's how I look at it now. So excited to have the opportunity to try this, and I would recommend it. All right. The next thing is a product that I actually received through Influencer. An Influencer, before, I think it was just when I was starting the channel, when I started to get the boxes, and when I started, there was only one IPSY $12 bag and one Boxycharm base box. So it was a lot easier to test the products, enjoy the products for the month before the next month came in, and so on and so forth. So I signed up for this Influencer because I was intrigued about these Vox boxes and things like that. Let me tell you that I did over a Christmas holiday of an entire week, that's all I did was fill in all the information on the reviews. And it's got to be over a year and a half ago now. And since then, I have not put anything in. So my Vox boxes, I think I've only received 2. So, but the 2 that I received, no, I must have received 3. This one ended up being an absolute gem. You know what? I think I received 4, because I received one at the beginning that was a L'Oreal product. Then the next one I think was from Charlotte Tilbury, which blew my mind. Then again, another L'Oreal product, and then now this Laura Mercier. So this one really intrigued me, and it was a product I didn't even know about. So on the days where, now because we wear masks to go out, so if I'm just running to the grocery store, I know that all they're going to see, I have my sunglasses on, I have my mask, but the one area that, and my regular glasses, the ones that I wear all the time, have a transition lens, so they get dark as soon as you get into the sunlight. But the one thing that I like to cover up, and I want to, I find it brightens up my face, is an under eye concealer. And I find when I have my, a BB cream or whatever, but the one thing is a concealer. So for me, the concealer of choice that I've always used was from the drugstore. It was the one with the sponge from Maybelline. It was thin enough consistency that when I was wearing just a BB cream or a CC cream, it gave me enough coverage without it looking like I had concealer on. I hope that makes some sense. So when this product came to me from Laura Mercier, which is such a fantastic brand, but it was a new product to her. One side is a concealer and the other side is a brightener. And so when I'm wearing just the mask and I'm not even like bothering with any face makeup or anything, this is what I'll end up putting on. So I dot it on my, and they're just, it's a crayon type of color here. So all I do is I very lightly put it on, and then with the warmth of my finger, I dab it in, and that takes away a little bit of that darkness, or where it looks like almost like it's a little shallow. That's what I do. So this has really been an absolute treat and a find. But like I said, I didn't even know this was a product that was available. I think it was one of their newer launches. So influencer is a nice way to, if you're getting products and if you have the time to do the reviews, it is a fantastic community and I do recommend it. So that was the next item that I put on my face. So after that, I decided I was going to skip the, as you know, the Becca under eye brightener, because I felt I used that and it was enough. So today I wanted to dip into my Estee Lauder. I was watching a newer person to my channel who signed up, and when you sign up, please tell me is sign up. There's no charge. So once you subscribe to my channel, if you have a channel, please make sure to tell me that you do, because then I would love to go over to your channel and visit you, and then hopefully, I can continue the support on your channel as well. So this is, she was mentioning that someone, one of her subscribers, suggested that she try this foundation. This is a staple. This has been a staple in my world long before I had a channel. Like I said, the channel world has only been a year and a half. So this is the Double Wear Stay in Place makeup from Estee Lauder. The color that I use is Desert Beige, and this was my staple. This was the one when I flew and did trade shows and board meetings and then had to go out for dinner. I knew with this on my face, I did not have to touch up. There's something about this that's really great. The only negative with this, and there is a way that you can go around it. I think it's through the MAC counter that they have one of those pumps, but this is one that does not have a pump. So that's the only negative with this, but I know that a lot of other girls that I've seen, they mention that they have this product, but they buy a pump from MAC to use it on these type of bottles. So that's the only negative I have with this. Otherwise, this is an absolute winner. The other product that I tell you about all the time, and I brought it out here this time because I wanted you guys to see it, it's the Fit Me. This is from Maybelline. It's the loose finishing powder, and as I've mentioned in other videos, I have it in a lot of different colors. This is the lightest color, and this is what I use to set my concealers. And then if my foundation color is one that's a little too light or a little too dark, I have this in light, I have this in light medium, and I have it in medium. The only thing you need to know about this Fit Me, for me anyways, is I find that the color is like what I would think a medium is, it's a light medium in this. That's why I ended up with a medium, light, and fair, because the colors weren't what I thought the colors were going to be. So I think it's like one shade down is what you should do. So that's what I usually set my concealer. So the concealer that I chose to use today was one that we got in our boxes, and you're going to start seeing it a little bit more because I've seen in a couple of the, they send out these, I don't know what you call them, even quizzes of, you know, you've been chosen type of thing. You know, we're looking at putting this in a box and that in a box. And, you know, so you kind of get to see some of the brands that maybe in the future they're going to be showing. This one is in, I think, 230 Beige. This is from the brand called Julep. And this is a cushion complexion. It says it's a 5-in-1 skin perfecting with turmeric. And what I liked about this one, this is a new brand to me, and I'm very, very impressed. And it has that sponge on it that I tell you guys that I like to use from the one in the stick for the concealer. I think it's also Maybelline, the cover stick. So it's one that you also twist up from the bottom. It has all the same components, but this one is really, really beautiful. I mean, I twisted it up just once to do my eye makeup, and I will not have to twist this up again for a little bit, you know, for a while. And only when you feel you're not getting the color out, that's when I recommend that you twist it. It also has a little window here, so you're able to see how much product you have or you don't have. So this has been something I've been, you know, reaching for when I want that lighter layer. And because I did that earlier concealer, because I had to go out and about, so I did that concealer in the morning from Mercier. When I was doing my makeup to sit down and do some videos, I decided that I would use this over, and it ended up being the right choice. So really, if you see this in your options as an add-on or an opportunity to have it as a choice item, this is one that I would recommend as well. Okay, then we, how I used the products to put the foundation on my face. I didn't get this in my boxes, so I did this as an add-on. And this was the only add-on that I did the previous month, because was getting so much during that month of March that I had so much product coming in from other boxes that I found and things like that, and the outside world, what I call the retail world. So many between, you know, the Whole Foods and just, I had a lot. So I looked at the add-ons, but I looked at it like with a real fine tooth comb. And the only thing that I saw that I didn't get in my box that I always wanted was a brush from KVD. I am so impressed when it was the Kat Von D line. I enjoy a lot of her products, but I never had the opportunity to try her brushes. This is her number 10, and it is a foundation brush. If you are not a girl that likes using sponges, this covered. I didn't really need to use a sponge afterwards. There is a sponge here that I'm going to show you because I wanted to test it, but this would have been enough. It was beautiful, beautiful how it placed everything where I wanted it to go. It didn't pull at my skin. The density of the brush is perfect. This is an absolute winner. So highly recommend this as well. The other product that I wanted to try, and you can see it's dirty because this is the one I used today, was the one that we were getting, and they were so inexpensive in the add-ons, and it took everything in me not to purchase some more of these, but I didn't test it yet, so I didn't want to. So this is the Beauty Bakerie. It's the cutest thing. They had a bunch of pink and a bunch of this color in there. The drugstore version that I really enjoy, that's inexpensive, and I've mentioned it numerous times to you guys, is from Wet n Wild. I really enjoy their sponge. And that, when I found that sponge, my beauty blenders went to the back of my drawer, and I was using the Wet n Wilds. And every time I saw it in the stores, I would grab like 4 or 5 of them just to have them, because I couldn't believe they were only $5 and they were amazing. So if you can only access something at a drugstore, the Wet n Wild one is that I recommend. But this, I think, was a 6-pack for $6. So it made these sponges like $1. So I said, and these came in my box. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it. This here blew up a little bit. It was a lot smaller in the ones that, you know, come in the box. So it does, you know, give you that density. It has a really nice bounce to it. There's something about this sponge that I found it was not pressing the product in as much as I wanted it to. It didn't behave. If I had to choose between the two, I would go back to my Wet n Wild. Let's put it that way. So this is a nice sponge. If you don't have sponges and you got these, then these are definitely ones you should enjoy. But for me, I'm happy I had the opportunity to try it before I ran it and bought more and more, because 6 of these will last, first of all, a really long time. But more importantly for me, this might be something I'll use for other things as opposed to the foundation. So it wasn't a win-win for me. I'm also very spoiled because I've shared with you guys in the past, and I'll leave the link down below. The Juno sponge for me, bar none, is one of the best. This I use every single day. These microfiber sponges really give you that look that is airbrushed, and I really felt like I missed it when I didn't use it today. So that's something that I highly, highly recommend, and it's something that I use all the time. And I've shared in other videos that I have a few of them in different densities now, but the original one that came out is the one that I use all the time for my powder, and I don't use it wet. So that's one that I highly, highly recommend. The powder that I did use today was another one that we received in the boxes. I was so excited to get this, and for some reason it went like into an area that I forgot about it. So this is the Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder. And now it's, you know, the old story when the rumors about Becca possibly, you know, closing, because Becca doesn't own Becca anymore. It's owned by a larger brand. And they're talking about closing the Becca company come the fall. And I'm really disappointed because there's so many fantastic products that that company brought and were the staples for me, from the under eye to their foundations, to their concealers, to their lipsticks are just phenomenal. It's such a great brand. It's just disappointing when large companies take over a business and then, you know, buy the business, and then, you know, over a short period of time, I guess based on the numbers, weren't equaling what they wanted out of their purchase. They're now going to be closing it, and it's a shame because Becca's packaging, Becca coming out with that highlighter with Jaclyn Hill was everything to all of us. So it's just a shame. It really, Becca was a name that was one that I always enjoyed. So anyways, this is their Hydra. What's nice about this, it has that extra little shield that you open up. The powder in here has that net, but when you put it on, it has a cooling sensation, and it is just an absolute treat. But it is a you know, really nicely milled translucent powder. So that's what I ended up using as my powder today. Okay, so the next products that I wanted to try were eyeshadows. So the primer that I chose today to use was from Alamar, and this is her sticky primer, I guess it's called. It's a longwear sticky primer. That's what this looks like here. I love Alamar. I love her shadows. I love her lip products. I love her powders for the face. This wasn't a winner for me. For some reason, and I use this because there was another product in here that I wanted to make sure that I wanted it to stick to the eyelid, but it really, I wouldn't mind the stickiness because that's fine, but I found it hard to maneuver it on the on my eyelid. And as you get older, the last thing you want to do is start pulling, you know, your skin into 20 different directions, because as we get older, sometimes you pull it and it stays where you pulled it. So I wanted this to be able to tap it on, and it didn't work that way for me. So I ended up using it because I already had it on that one eye. I had to put it on the other eye. So that was the only thing that I felt there was a little bit of pulling. So to me, there's not a lot of play. So if I would use this again, I would use it, you know, one eye and get it exactly how I want it, and then do the other eye after, as opposed to placing it on both eyes and then doing one eye and then the other eye. Kind of, it was hard to use. So that's this product here. But what I really wanted to use today was the Natasha Denona palette that I received, and this one is in the coral. So this was a choice item for me, and that's what these colors look like here. When I went to use this, I like to set my primers with a shade that's a very much like a beigey shell color, and I didn't have it in here. So I have this one palette that I keep in my arsenal. It's very thick, so I never travel with it, but it's always sitting on my counter so that if I'm missing that shell shade or a black, and I pull this out. It is a Tarte palette, and as you can see, this is very well loved. I think it's the only one that I've ever hit pan on in any of my shadows, but that's what I always use to set my shadow down, my shadow base down, so that everything then just glides over it. And there's so many colors that I can use, so that once this one's done, I'll be able to move on to use these two. And then of course I have a black shade in here that if I ever want to deepen up. So this is one of those palettes that I always keep. This is one that's old and probably, you know, should be, you know, put back into pasture, and it's just something that I've always kept on my counter so that if I needed it, it was there. But this eyeshadow palette was an absolute dream to use. What I ended up doing was the new brushes that came from this Beau Gachis were the shadow brushes that I chose to use. And I used them solely so that I would know if I felt I was missing something. And when you get used to, first of all, the brushes are beautiful, and the way they picked up the product and the way they placed the product and how soft the bristles were to maneuver the product was fantastic. So these I would highly, highly recommend. I know a couple of girls were mentioning that they feel light and they feel cheap. They are not. This is a bamboo, and that's why you're feeling it being light. And bamboo is not an inexpensive product to use. So these are definitely not low-end brushes. They don't behave like low-end brushes, and I was really, really impressed with them. So what I ended up doing was I ended up using this shade as my transition. I used this in my outer corner. I ended up deepening it up with this because there was nothing deeper, but this really behaved over this shadow as a deeper color, which was fantastic. And then in the center of my eye, I used the shimmer shade that's up here. And then I tried this color here, and this is truly a topper. So this gave me a little bit of, not enough of the oomph that I wanted. And that's when I remembered there was another product that I wanted to try. And it is this one from Eloise. That's what this looks like here. Anyways, these brushes behaved beautifully. I enjoyed every single one of them, and each one was used. So if you see these are ones I would recommend. If you already had them in your boxes, pull them out because these are definite winners. All right, so what I used in the center of my eye, which I have never, believe it or not, I have it in my stash and I have never reached for it before. The ones even from Estee Lauder. So this one here is what I wanted to use. I saw when one of the girls pulled this out of her PR packages months ago, her whole eye changed. And this is what this does. It is really fantastic. And what's nice about this is you could place it and it gives you a little bit of time to play. So it is absolutely perfect. So if you see this in future add-ons, this is absolutely another win. The other items, and this is going long and I apologize. This one here that I ended up using was from True and Luscious. This is called Lucky Glow. And this was one that I don't know if I've used it before, but I must have, because everything in here looked like it was a little bit loved. And this was absolutely stunning as well. I used both to contour and then to use as the bronzer. I used the blush. The only thing with the blush, when I put my blush brush in, which I use from IT Cosmetics, it picked up a lot of product. So I had to tap off a lot, and I always do my makeup over a sink. So I just had to make sure to tap the palette over. So at the end, when I finish all my makeup, I just have to wash the sink down. This here was a very interesting color. It ended up being a highlighter, and then I gave this highlighter a little bit more of a punch with this one. So I ended up using everything in the palette, and there's nothing better than when you receive a face palette that you end up using all the colors. It is an absolute win. So this is a new brand to me and maybe to you. So this is one that I would also recommend, and it's called Lucky Glow. It's a bronze and highlighter palette, and the name is True Luscious. Okay, so now we got down to all of that. So now we're just finishing up the face. So as you know, before I finish up all my eyes, I pull out my banana powder from OFRA. I tell you, I do not miss this out, and I'm telling to you again, it is fantastic. This is not like any other banana powder that I have ever used, and this is my go-to, and I keep going back to it. Now, for the eyes, I got this from QVEEN, and it's spelled QVEEN. This is their liquid liner. It is beautiful. It went on with no tugging, no pulling my eye to make sure I can get it where I wanted it. This really impressed me. And the only reason I used a liquid eyeliner today, and I haven't been using liquid eyeliners for a while because I've been using the blacks and the palettes and things like that, was because the coral palette from Natasha Denona didn't have anything dark. So I wanted to give a little bit more of a depth to my eye without having to pull out another palette. And I chose this one because I wanted to try their mascara again, because this mascara blew me away. I had the opportunity to try this once before, and It's a tubular mascara, so that I tell you guys all the time, it goes on like a normal mascara, but when you take it off, it will come off in like little tubes. So don't be concerned when you're taking your eye makeup off. And I always use the Garnier with the pink tap to remove my eye makeup on either a cotton round or some of those rounds that we've now received. I just received in the box, which I'm excited to have the opportunity to use. This really blew my mind. What's great about this mascara is that it goes on, there's something about this wand, it is a different shape, it's almost like a bit of a half moon. So you wiggle it on the bottom and then you pull it all the way through, and I did not have to dip in. The amount of formula that stays on this, I'm able to do my whole eye and do it again. So I was really impressed with this. So when I decided that I was going to use this mascara again, I wanted to match it up with the eyeliner, and this is a definite duo. So this is the outside packaging for the mascara. So if you see it, like I said, it's called QVEEN, but it's spelled QVEEN. So really impressed with this. And then to finalize my look, I got also, and I think it is in the box by Fashionista, this Bella Pierre in the nude. I lined my lips with that, and then I put this over it. And I wanted to have a little bit more sparkle on my lips because this is a matte, but it's a creamy matte. My lips do not feel dry at all when using this. But because I put that little bit of the other product in the center of my eye, I wanted to have a little bit of a glitter on my lips. And what I ended up using was this Violet Voss, and it's in the color Dream. And this is from an IPSY box. So really excited to have the opportunity to try that. Then I saw in the last add-ons that this is popping up again, and I don't want you guys to miss out on it. It is from Tarte. It is the Maracuja Miracle Mist. This goes on, and if you're not familiar with this, the first time I had the opportunity to try a spray in an aerosol was actually from the Morphe brand, and those run around $16. I don't know what the full retail was on this, but I know I ended up spending $10 or $12 on this one, and this is Tarte, so I would assume this is at least a $24 or $28 one. And I enjoyed that one so much that I said I'm going to treat myself to an aerosol again, and that's why this is here, and it is fantastic. It's the type that you just shake a little bit, you spray it on, it goes on like the finest mist. It's a cool and refreshing feeling, and then you do not have to blot it down or anything. Your skin just enjoys it. And to me, this is more of a hydrating one, and I thought because of the Maracuja, and I'm really impressed with her oils and all her products from the Tarte brand. So when I had the opportunity to grab this, I did. And that is everything that I have on my face today. And I wanted to share some of the new products with you because now it looks like we are going to have add-ons and pop-ups every month from Boxycharm. So the more I have the opportunity to try some of the newer items that we're getting, there's a possibility it might show up in a future add-on, and I don't want you guys to miss out. All right, please share in the comments down below if you have had the opportunity to try any of these products and what your experience was with those products, because I'm a combo girl, and I know a lot of you guys are either younger or older or drier, or you know, everyone's skin type is going to behave differently to the products. So I like that we have our own community here in the True Ones comments, and I read every single one of your comments and I respond to every single one. So I want to make sure that you share, because a lot of us read everybody's comments, and that's how we're all learning from each other. Once again, thank you so much for taking any time out of your day that you're choosing to spend it with me here. So thank you. But more importantly, during this time, it's so important that we all continue to stay safe so that we can all stay well. And I will see you all soon in my next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.